Early in our marriage, I discovered a pattern that would take years to unravel. When conflict arose, my wife's anger would surface quickly and directly, while mine seemed to disappear entirely. I convinced myself that this was maturity, that someone needed to stay calm, be the peacemaker, and help manage her emotions. What I didn't realize was that I wasn't actually calm. I was terrified. Terrified that if she was already angry, there wasn't room for my anger too. So I buried my feelings deep, becoming an expert at swallowing resentment and wearing a mask of patient understanding. For years, this dance continued. She would express her emotions honestly while I performed emotional management, secretly keeping score of every slight, every disappointment, every moment when I felt unheard or misunderstood. Then came the conversation that changed everything. After another conflict where I'd played my usual role of calm mediator, she looked at me with concern. "Why do you feel like you don't deserve to have or express your feelings?" The question hit me like cold water. Somewhere along the way, I decided that my emotions were less valid, less important, less worthy of space in our relationship. That conversation opened a door I'd kept locked for years. In the months that followed, she began asking me a simple question whenever tension arose. "Do you feel angry?" It was an invitation to bring my whole self into our relationship. That conversation taught me something vital about wholeness. We cannot become healthy in isolation. We need people who love us enough to speak inconvenient truths, who know us well enough to spot our blind spots, and who care more about our character than our comfort. King David valued this kind of relationship deeply. In Psalm 133, he celebrates the beauty of authentic community. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Psalm 133:1. This isn't shallow pleasantness or surface-level fellowship, it's the profound unity that comes from people committed to each other's spiritual growth. Later, in Psalm 55, David reveals the pain of betrayal by someone he'd trusted. "If an enemy were insulting me, I could endure it. If a foe were rising against me, I could hide. But it is you, a man like myself, my companion, my close friend, with whom I once enjoyed sweet fellowship at the house of God." Psalm 55:12-14. David understood both the beauty and the risk of intimate friendship. Real community requires vulnerability, and vulnerability always involves the possibility of being hurt. But the alternative, isolation, is far worse. My wife's confrontation was a gift wrapped in difficult packaging. It forced me to face patterns I'd been hiding and began a process of emotional healing that wouldn't have happened otherwise. Wholeness requires community. We need people who know our struggles and love us anyway, who challenge our excuses and celebrate our victories. Who is that person in your life? If you have someone in mind, send them a note today to express your gratitude. And if you don't have someone, I pray that God will show you the person with whom you can begin building trust soon. Tomorrow, we're going to examine a truth that brings together many of the truths we've explored throughout this 30-day journey.
Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me, then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my guide, and mine acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together, and walked unto the house of God in company.